The movie takes place sometime in the future, after Earth has discovered an extraterrestrial world with intelligent humanoid life. The scenario is rich for world building. Consider what would happen if such a discovery were made tomorrow. World governments would scramble to respond and determine how best to interact with this new species. Scientists would be eager to study these beings, and how they fundamentally change our understanding of biology and evolution. And humanity would struggle with questions of existential meaning, religion, and morality in a universe where it isn't alone. What happened in the Avatar universe? A private company set up shop on this world and only interacts with the aliens as needed for their mining operation.
Mining company!
Seriously? No one else was interested in this mind-blowing discovery. No governments wanted to contact these aliens? Nothing?
As the most efficient superconductor known to exist, unobtainium is a rare earth mineral mined by humans and the sole reason for their presence on Pandora.
Why does no one care? On a related note, the issues faced by the RDA on Pandora are very contrived. Their main problem stems from conflict with the Na'vi, but the circumstances needed to create this situation are ridiculous. Out of all of Pandora, they couldn't find one uninhabited location with an unobtainium deposit? It's one company versus an entire moon, since apparently no one else is interested in it. Why do they have to dig up the one deposit people live on? Is it more work to search for another one than to start a war? Seems irrational for a company that supposedly cares about profits and bad press. The movie needs there to be conflict between the RDA and the Na'vi, but it's unwilling to put in the work to craft a believable scenario. It has to ignore the overwhelming interest Earth would have in Pandora to isolate the RDA on it, and it has to ignore the alternatives to going to war with the Na'vi over unobtainium. Let's take a look at the positives of Pandora's world building. A whole language and dialect was constructed to help give the Na'vi a distinct culture. It's well integrated into the story, serving as both a barrier and a bridge between characters of wildly different backgrounds.
I see you.
I see you.
Avatar is about trying to learn the other culture, trying to push through into an understanding of their worldview. The first key to that is always language. People think in their own language, and their language is a reflection of their worldview.
Other aspects of the Na'vi were given a lot of thought and attention. The goal was a culture that felt alien but still tied to some level of reality.
That was one of the big issues at the beginning, was how alien do we get?
The other challenge, of course, is that it can't look like anything you'd ever find on Earth. And that's fantastic.
To say we did a lot of training is an understatement. We actually had to learn how to walk like a Na'vi.
The effort extended to the environment too, creating a unique world still grounded in some science and logic.
Jim was really adamant about wanting Pandora to be possible. His vision was to really have as much real and good science in it as it could be. On Pandora, there's a very strong magnetic field and very weak gravity, so plants were able to grow much larger. The idea that there is fairly low light could conceivably cause plants to evolve bioluminescence.
This allows the Na'vi and Pandora to feel foreign and unique without crossing the bounds of what the audience is capable of understanding. What I appreciate most is how Na'vi culture is inextricably intertwined with their environment. For instance, their belief in the sacredness of all life.
She talks about a network of energy that flows through all living things. All energy is only borrowed, and one day you have to give it back.
This is almost certainly derived from a literal phenomenon in Pandoran nature.
There's some kind of electrochemical communication between the roots of the trees, like the synapses between neurons. It's a global network, and the Na'vi can access it.
This helps tie the Na'vi to their world in a realistic way. Except the effects their environment would have on their culture aren't taken to their logical ends. For example, the Na'vi can use trees to upload and download memories. Such technology would drastically impact their perception of the past, their accumulation of knowledge, and how they view mortality. This is completely ignored. And the mechanics of Ewa are another big problem. On the one hand, she's a vague entity that communicates via spirits and needs a special interpreter.
Our great mother does not take sides, Sheikh. She protects only the balance of life.
On the other hand, she's capable of direct action, turning the animals of Pandora into her own personal army.
Ewa has heard you!
Ewa is ill-defined, and her capabilities fluctuate depending on the needs of the plot. This breaks immersion, since Ewa could do pretty much anything without explanation, constantly disrupting the audience's understanding of this world's rules. I complimented the movie's use of flora, but it's not as strong when it comes to its fauna. Let's play a game.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong.
Aside from some features of the Proliberis, the Na'vi don't match the other fauna on Pandora. Every vertebrate has 6 limbs, except the Na'vi. They all have 4 eyes, except the Na'vi. They all have 2 ponytails, except the Na'vi. They're basically blue humans with Code Geass proportions. And to give the Na'vi these more human characteristics, the movie sacrificed their consistency with the rest of Pandora's animals.
We kept realizing that it wouldn't work as a love story to see them not be attractive, but they couldn't be human. So we have to find ways of pushing away from human, but in a way that people would not find off-putting, and in fact might even find to be kind of beautiful. I wanted people to say, I want to be one of them. A lot of the imagery in Avatar comes from dreams that I've had over time. I know the surrealist artists strongly believed that their mission was to translate to the canvas images they'd had in dreams without any attempt to analyze or mediate them. And I kind of adopted a little bit of that when I was making Avatar. I thought, you know, if I like an image, I'm going to put it in the movie, and I'm not going to try to justify it.
The Na'vi being the only animal on Pandora to lack these otherwise ubiquitous features calls into question their place in this world. The movie wants people to get immersed in its setting, but incongruities like this risk shattering that. The Na'vi could have been given more of the wildlife's common alien features, or the other animals could have been reworked to more closely align with the Na'vi. As far as world building goes, it's a mixed bag. Some areas are well thought out and detailed, while others are half-baked and contrived. If you like what you just saw, check out the full review. You can support me with super thanks and Patreon. Till next time.